Hi everybody, how are you doing? It's 7 p.m. on a Thursday, which means it's time for our little lesson. This will be about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Hi everyone. How's it going? Are you from Tainan? Okay, hello. Hi Sandy, hi Betty. Hello everyone, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. The week is almost finished. Tomorrow's Friday. Today it was sunny and not raining, which is strange. Doing worse than you are. Okay, it's a shame. That sounds bad. Hope you survive. Anyway, nice to see you guys. So what are we doing today? We are going to talk about the IELTS speaking test. And we're going to talk about part 3. Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm doing awesome because yeah, I can see the weekend. So yeah. All right, if you look in the comments, you'll actually see the questions we're going to look at today. So that's quite helpful, and you can even try to start thinking of some ideas, because we're going to sort of brainstorm some ideas together. So we're going to talk about part 3 of the speaking test of the IELTS. If you don't know about part 3, it's basically just questions. The examiner asks you a question and you give an answer. But if you want more information about part 3, we did a video. You can go look on our Facebook page from April 21st, and we tell you what happens in part 3. But in a nutshell, the examiner asks you a question and you give an answer, but your answer needs to be pretty good, like pretty long. It's probably the most like difficult part of the exam because the questions are not so easy. Okay, so we're doing part 3 today. So remember, part 3 is connected to part 2. Whatever they ask you in part 2 will be connected to part 3. So for example, if they asked you about food or restaurants or eating habits or food in culture or something like that, then if they asked you that in part 2, then in part 3, the topic will be food or restaurants or something. Okay, and today our questions are related to food. So let's pretend that in part 2, they asked us something about food or restaurants, and now we're on to part 3, and the topic is food and restaurants. All right, so let's get on to our first question, and we're just gonna look at this question. Which is more popular in your country? Fast food restaurants or traditional restaurants? What is more popular in your country, fast food restaurants or traditional restaurants? So we're all in Taiwan, I think. So what do you guys think? You can actually comment there. Fast food restaurants or traditional restaurants? Which one is more popular in Taiwan? And I was thinking about this question. Where do you think night market food goes into this? Is night market food fast food or is it traditional food in Taiwan? Because it's kind of in the middle. Because on the one hand it is like a traditional Taiwanese food, but on the other hand it's not very healthy, and it's very oily like fast food. So that's quite a tough one. Anyway, so yeah, fast food restaurants or traditional restaurants. I'm seeing some people say fast food, some people say traditional. So I think for this answer we should go, we should say both. And how are we going to say that in both in part 3? So we can start by saying, I think both are very popular in my country. Taiwanese people love food, so both of these styles of restaurants get a lot of customers and are both very popular. I think fast food restaurants are probably more popular with younger people, so teenagers and university students and even young adults, like young working adults, people in their 20s, maybe early 30s. Fast food restaurants are popular. because they're quick and they're convenient, they're not too expensive, and they're delicious. There's no doubt about it. However, traditional restaurants in Taiwan are amazing, and you definitely find young people there, but traditional restaurants are a little bit more, they take a bit more time, and you probably go there with your family, and they're a little bit more home cooked, so it takes a bit longer, and you'll probably go there with your family or your parents for that. So yeah, I would say both are very popular in my country. So notice in that answer, we said both. Okay, so you got to explain one and you got to explain the other. Like, why are they both popular? So that's an important thing in part 3. Try to sort of have two things. Like, either you saying both are good, or you're giving like 2 reasons why you think one is good. Okay, so that was that answer. Do you think that was a good answer? Was that all right? I don't know. In other countries, this would be different. So if you spoke about my country, ooh, that's a difficult question. I don't know. Again, I would say both. It really depends on the occasion. Depends who you're eating with. Probably fast food restaurants, to be honest, just because of their efficiency and their cost. Who wants to cook and who wants to, wait for food? We want it now. All right, so the next question is, some people say, and remember, you can see this in the comments, some people say that food in an expensive restaurant is always better than food in a cheap restaurant. Would you agree? Okay, so you tell me. So some people say that food in an expensive restaurant is always going to be better than food in a cheap restaurant. Would you agree? All right, everybody, would you agree? So do you agree with this? If you agree with this, send me a like, send me a thumb. Okay? If you agree that food in an expensive restaurant is always better than food in a cheap restaurant, send me a like. Okay, if you disagree with this, okay, we got a few likes, If you disagree with this, send me a heart. Like, if you think, no, I think cheap restaurants can also have really, really good food. Okay, here come the hearts. Okay, we got likes and we got hearts. That's difficult. Looks quite even, I think. Ooh, lots of hearts now, so maybe more hearts. So again, this is a question where you could go both ways, because I can think of reasons why somebody's giving me a hug. That's sweet. Okay, giving me a hug because this is so hard. So this question, you could go both ways. You could say like, well, I think expensive restaurants, you could say, well, I disagree because, you know what? For this question, I'm just going to say I disagree, okay? I'm not going to try to agree and disagree. Sometimes that's too complicated. So sometimes just choose one and go for it. Okay, so I'm going to choose I disagree. So I disagree with this statement because I think although you can obviously get amazing, excellent food in expensive restaurants, and you get what you pay for, and if you're going to eat something really nice like steak or seafood or something, then obviously the more you pay, it's probably going to be cooked better with better ingredients and by a professional chef. So that is true. However, cheap restaurants around the world can have some amazing dishes, and when you can find cheap little restaurants, especially in a country like Taiwan and Asia, where there's little restaurants like in little alleys and lanes and little roads, and it's like somebody's old family restaurant, then yeah, you can find amazing food that's not advertised and it's not expensive and it's probably better than restaurants, because sometimes you can go to an expensive restaurant and you can pay a lot of money and you get something really disappointing, right? Like if it's a steak, it might be overcooked and it's all dry and it's just boring and there's no flavor and anything like that. So expensive restaurants can really let you down. Okay, so that's my answer. Both of those answers are probably way too long because I'm just talking and talking and talking. So how should you answer part 3 questions? Good vocabulary. You want like a wide range of vocabulary so that you're explaining yourself very clearly and with lots of colorful information. Grammar, you want your grammar to be good. When I say good, I mean you're not making lots of mistakes. Like you're talking and it's I think everyone's going to make some mistakes. So as long as you're not making many mistakes, then that's okay. Also, you want your answer to be organized. So remember, you saying like in the first question, we said, I think fast food restaurants and traditional restaurants are popular. And then this is why fast food, and this is why traditional. And so that's a nice organization. So organization, so the answer is logical and sort of sounds good. Secondly, you need to explain things. So you can't just say, I think fast food restaurants are more popular because they are more convenient. Okay, that's A, that's too short, and B, what do you mean? Like that's not explained. You're not explaining it. You need to explain what you mean. Why is it convenient, and why does convenience make it more popular? Okay, so you need to explain yourself in part 3. And that's why it's difficult. Part 3 is difficult because you have to explain what you're talking about. Okay, so, and one more thing about part 3, try to make your answer about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds. Okay, definitely over 30 and under a minute. Okay, over 30, under a minute. That's a good length. I see a question here from Leonard. What should I do if I get stuck during the speaking test? That's a good question. So I think he means, like, what should you do if you can't think of something to say? Like you have no idea what to say, or maybe you don't understand the question, or you're talking and you suddenly realize you've made a mistake and you need to start again. So my answer to this question is very simple. Just do what you would do in a normal conversation. So imagine you talking to your friend, or your mom, or your teacher, or your classmates, or your boss, or your coworker. Imagine you talking to one of them and suddenly you don't understand the question, or you suddenly forget what was the question, or you suddenly don't have an idea. What would you do? You would probably say to them like, sorry, do you mind repeating the question? Or you would say, sorry, I've just lost track. Do you mind if I start again? So in other words, just be natural and be normal. You know, we understand that everyone's a human in this test. So just do the natural thing. Okay, I hope that's nice and useful. I want to know, next week we might go into writing, and we might do writing task 1. What do you guys think of that? Would you rather do writing, or do you want to keep doing speaking? You can type in the comments if you want. I think people like to do the speaking, but writing is also useful, and it's an important part of IELTS, so we'll have to see. So let us know. Please comment, please join us next week. Please come. Somebody wants to do speaking. That's cool. I wish I knew your name. All right, both. Okay. Next week we'll do probably do writing, because we've done speaking twice, and then we'll come back to speaking. Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for coming. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. And yeah, join us next time. Tell all your friends and practice those questions. Which is more popular in your country, fast food or traditional restaurants, and why? And what do you think's better? Cheap food, cheap restaurants or expensive restaurants? Ask your friends on the weekend. While you're at the restaurant, you can actually ask them these questions. All right, bye everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.